Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got no time for that limelight. I'm from California, man, I guess we'll start with that. Banged out starter caps, glued to the cul-de-sac, looking like an artifact, trying to get their money back. Yellow jackets coming, mama about to have a heart attack. Southeast San Diego, we was at the heart of that. You moved about the hood, my nigga, you ain't want no part of that. Move to work and let the money drip the laundry mat. I pray to God the homie get his little daughter back. So many problems and it's not even a part of rap. So many suckers and they hating and they copycat. And life is bigger than these bitches that you hollered at. And if you bleed it out, I better get $3 back. And all I'm giving is the facts. Pay attention to the stats and never making mention of the jacks. Gotta keep the money stacked, work your way through the traps. Money motivated to the max. Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my
man. Welcome to the remix with Cali Dre, man. Cali Dre is in the motherfucking building, man. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? I done pull back up on y'all. Let me get to the big screen. What's up with y'all, man? How y'all living today, man? Hope y'all having a good weekend. You know what I'm saying? Most definitely hot than a bitch out here in California, man. You know what I'm saying? I could be out there. You know what I'm saying? Chasing all the eye candy around. But instead, I was like, man, let me go chop it up with the people real quick. You know what I'm saying? So here I is, man. I told y'all I was gonna pull back up. I pulled back up, man. And I got a topic today that I think is very important and I think is not getting enough attention in the national media. So that's why we about to cover it right now, man, because this is something that's near and dear to my heart. You know what I'm saying? Black economy. You dig what I'm saying? The black dollar. You know what I mean? So I found a video, man, that gives a lot of good information on kind of where we are currently, you know, and I want to tap in with that, man. Hopefully y'all enjoy it too. It's from the Defiant Lawyer. Shout out to Defiant Lawyer for breaking this down. I thought it was a real good video, man, and definitely worth me, you know what I'm saying, getting up out that California sunshine to come fuck with y'all, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we about to do, man. You know what I mean? I ain't got no whole, you know what I mean? We ain't roller coastering today. We on one topic, the black dollar. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we about to get about. We finna get to it, man. That's the only way I know how to do it around this motherfucker. I appreciate y'all for rocking, man. Subscribe to the channels, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. That's where I'm currently streaming on. And then I got profiles on Facebook, IG. Look for me. Holla at me, man. Tap in with me. We finna get educational right now. You know what I'm saying? Before the Modelo's kick in, for the night train and the mimosas and all that shit kick in. Hopefully y'all ain't started yet. Hopefully I caught y'all right before y'all getting going. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can, you know, take in some of this information we finna tap in with, man. But without further ado, let's take a look at this, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Support the Defiant Lawyer, support his channel. Yeah, and please believe I'm looking at the motherfucking numbers, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I've been covering all the toxic bullshit the last few nights, and then the numbers been jumping. So hopefully we have that same type of response for this material that we about to cover today, because this is way more important than the last 4 days I done spent on here talking to y'all. Please believe that. Hit that like button, subscribe to this motherfucking channel, man.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you had a really good day. Hope your day was awesome. Hope you got a lot accomplished. And if your day wasn't so good, you're in my heart and you're in my prayers. So we got a really serious topic to talk about. So let me sort of set it up. Throughout 2025, I have been keeping up with the jobs numbers because I wanted to see and be able to show and demonstrate that Trump's policies have been anti-Black.
Yeah, I just want to stop it there, man. Listen, I don't want y'all to just think I'm the only one that be saying this. When y'all see me popping up on platforms and I have these messages that people may agree with, may not agree with, I don't want you to think it's just my sentiment. My sentiment comes from facts. You know what I'm saying? And the facts I'm about to try to lay out to y'all right now. So buckle up. You know what I'm saying? Roll a little something up. Don't get too tipsy. I need y'all locked in. But pay attention to what you're gonna hear from this man, and hopefully y'all take something from it, man. Let's get it.
And the anti-Blackness, the systemic racism that we deal with in this country, even more so now with Trump back in office, that tends to fall on African-American men especially. Now, that does not mean that Black women have not suffered. In fact, Black women have suffered quite a bit under this this second Trump administration because African-American women are overrepresented in the federal workforce. So when Trump unleashed his anti-DEI policies, Black women got hit really, really hard and lost hundreds of thousands of jobs. And those of you who've been with the channel for some time, you know that I have talked about that quite a bit, have done many videos throughout 2025, basically with every job report that comes out. So we'll do a job report for, what is this, July. It should be out the first part of August, the first week, first few days of August. So we both have been suffering. But what the data shows is that Black men, when it comes to employment, are suffering even more so. And that has its own problems that affect all of us as African-American people, affect our entire community. So what we're going to do here is we're going to listen to a scholar, Dr. Austin, PhD.
All right, now don't get scared. He said scholar. Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? You got your boy Cali Dre to break this shit down for y'all. So I don't want y'all running away just because a motherfucking scholar coming on the show. These are the type of people we need to be listening to, people. You know what I'm saying?
He released a report several months ago talking about this. And so what I'm going to share with you today is based on his report. This is not my research. This is his research. This is his scholarship. And I want to give.
Yeah, shout out to this brother for this research because it's most definitely powerful and needs to be highlighted in many different platforms and elevated as high as we can elevate it.
Give him credit for his work. And that should increase the credibility of everything that I'm saying because it is based on the expertise of an expert in this area. So I'm doing this the way that I would do a trial. Instead of me trying to explain something that I don't have expertise in, then what I do in a trial is what I'm doing today, and that is I refer to an expert or an expert report. Now, I hope to have Dr. Austin on the podcast at some point so that he can explain his report even better than what I'm able to do. All right? So we will try to get him on the podcast. But this is really serious stuff. And I want to show you how just bad things have been for Black men. You know, Black men have been saying to the country that we catch a lot of flack. We catch a lot of stuff from this racism. We try our best to tell the country. Okay? And a lot of times it goes unnoticed. It goes really, you know, it's like it's not serious when it affects black men. But
Yeah, I'd have to say there's some truth to that. You know what I mean? Everybody expect black men to make it with nothing, come from nothing. And when we do get a little something, motherfuckers questioning how we get it. You know what I'm saying? And looking at us like we don't deserve it. So I most definitely have to agree with that. And I think a lot of the problems, not even just black men, but black people have fallen on deaf ears in this motherfucker. Push up.
black men are really, 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 really suffering economically. And you see it in other areas as well. So my work, the work that I have done as an attorney and a minister has been primarily to empower black men. And that has been the work that I've been involved in now for about 40 years. As a teacher, of course, you all know I wrote a book on educating black men. As a juvenile attorney, as an adult attorney, as a civil rights attorney, my adult life has been dedicated to empowering black men. Because obviously, if we can get men straight, that's going to impact the entire community. And when men are not straight, that's also going to impact the entire community.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it right there, man. I think there's a lot of power in what he just said because here's the thing, right? You know, women most definitely play an essential role in you know the nurturing of life and you know bringing it into the world and all those things, man. But I think that the leadership aspect, the setting the direction of the relationship aspect, the protector aspect, you know, there's a lot of things that men have to be able to provide for there to be a sound family situation. And I think that focusing on the men in this instance and trying to get the men up will ultimately help the women rise as well. All the tides, all the boats will rise in a rising tide. You know what I'm saying? But we got to figure out how to get the tide up. So let's see if we can unpack what some of these issues is, man. And I appreciate this brother for dropping this video. Hopefully y'all get some good information out of it.
So this is not to say our dear precious sisters are not suffering too, but black men are suffering disproportionately when it comes to these job numbers. All right? And like I said, if brothers are suffering, then it's hard for them to do right and be there for their children, for their wives, for their children's mothers, and so on. So let's take a really serious look at this. Now, we're going to watch a video by Dr. Austin. I played a portion of that video several days ago. So we're going to play some more of that video. It's very instructive, so pay close attention to it when we get there. All right, so before we get into this, let me say good evening to Richie from NYC.
Oh, hold on. He's doing shout outs here. Let me fast forward a little bit. We ain't shouting out. We ain't shouting out nobody. We get to the rip.
The skies are beautiful. It's a nice, pleasant day. We're going to be flying at an altitude of 35,000 miles per hour after takeoff. Looking for a beautiful trip from here to such and such and such. So the extremely low unemployment rate of black men. I just want you to know once again, folks, brothers are suffering and have been suffering for a long time. For a long, long time. And that explains some of the reasons why a lot of brothers are disenchanted right now with the Democratic Party.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there real quick. So this is a TDLN civil rights data briefing. The extremely low employment rate of black men. What data actually says about why the gap exists. So that's what we about to dive into in this segment right here.
Okay, think it was one of yesterday's videos. A brother said in the comments that a lot of black men that voted for Trump did so on the basis of economics. Okay.
Listen, damn it, y'all know me, bruh. Cali Dre is in the motherfucking building, man. I gotta say that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life, and here's why. Because black people overall were prospering under Democratic leadership under Joe Biden. The black unemployment rate under Joe Biden is the lowest that it's ever been in the history of this country. So I kind of disagree with that. I mean, if that's their reasoning, cool, but that's not a sound reason. That reason is not solid at all. If you look at the numbers, like it's not. But here, let's tap back in with this.
Now that doesn't justify why any black man would vote for Trump. Okay, doesn't justify it at all, because we know that Trump is working hard for white men and working hard against black men. And that's very clear. I try to make it clear every time I sit behind this microphone. So that was not a good reason. But it does explain on some level why many black men have soured on the Democratic Party. Because many have said we've been suffering for quite some time. And it seems like the Democratic Party could do more to try to help us. And I understand that sentiment. I have understood it for quite some time. But what we're dealing with now is sort of an opposition type thing, even if you got issues. And I presume we all have some issues with the Democratic Party. Right now, though, we have to put those issues to the side because the other party is actively in opposition to us.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I think that needs to be highlighted from the standpoint of, I can point to any number of things to tell you that this current administration does not support black people. I mean, they're actively on the opposite side of black people getting reparations in Evanston, Illinois. They're on the other side of that. Black people are saying we want reparations programs, and the Trump administration jumped on the other side of that battle against black people getting reparation programs. So that's a clear example right there. I mean, I could dig further in the crate if you want me to. I mean, shit. How about them basically taking away, low income people's food, food assistance and stuff like that before Thanksgiving? You know what I mean? How about what they've done to the civil rights, legislation, what they've done to DEI legislation, what they've done to affirmative action legislation, which is all things that we need, despite all the, inaccuracies that you hear out there. Those programs help black people, they help minorities. And, could they be streamlined or could they be cleaned up or ran better? Of course, every government program could, because people are running them and people are fuck ups. So there's always a need for oversight, but getting rid of the program and those kind of things, that kind of lets you know where they stand. And I can give you any number of other examples. I mean, hell, On inauguration day, there was a guy named Elon Musk throwing up the Nazi sign in the White House, and I stood on business on that, and motherfuckers told me it was every other thing but what it really was. So I'm just a realist, man. I look at shit for what it is, because if you are a realist, that's how you can get real solutions. If you understand the real problem, then you can get real solutions. But if it's fake plays and a bunch of bullshit in there, you just spinning around chasing your goddamn tail. And I don't like doing that. My time is too valuable. You know what I'm saying? Time is the one thing we can't get back in this motherfucker. So I don't like to waste it. But let's get back to it, man.
The Democratic Party could do more, but it's not trying to take us back to Jim Crow. And you know that I've advocated for what I call impact voting, where we don't abandon the Democratic Party. Instead, we take over the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I hear so many things, man. I've been doing this now, man, for a couple of years, as far as just jumping on platforms, listening to people's opinions and where they see the world and where we at in politics and all this shit, man. And I gotta tell you, a lot of it is based in fear or inaccurate information. And I think, I think we just got to do better at that, man. I think if you know the problem, you know that you can figure out a solution. If you don't know the problem, then how the fuck are you gonna solve the problem? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at shit. You feel me?
And make it do what we want it to do. And the best example of that now to look at is MAGA.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. And before that, the Tea Party, because they most definitely took control of the Republican Party and got it under, doing carrying out its agenda. And so we as black people need to have that same mentality. We got all this revolution mentality. We got all this we gonna leave the country mentality. We got all this what's some of the other popular things that niggas throw out there because they just too lazy to do some goddamn work and work together and get out of this goddamn problem. And, I hear a bunch of shit, but I'm very much on the type of person that'll tell you, yeah, the systematic racism, all that shit's true. I'll give you all that. I'll give you all that. You can have it. You're right on all that. But none of that shit is stopping me and you from starting a business together right now. None of that shit is stopping me and you from creating a content partnership to where we can put our numbers together and go to a company like Sprite or OnlyFans or Dollar Tree, nigga, and go get a check. Nobody this all that systematic shit niggas is talking about, and that's not stopping us from doing those type of things. And yet we don't do it. So I am very big on personal accountability, man. And I just feel like even with all the odds against us, we still got to find a way. We can't just sit here. We can't just sit here, nigga. We got to figure it out. We got to take the torch from the ancestors and push the ball as far forward as we can. And if you're not waking up trying to do that every day, then what the fuck are you doing?
How MAGA took over the Republican Party and is now using the Republican Party to push its agenda. That is exactly what Black Americans should do regarding the Democratic Party. Take it over through something I call impact voting. Now, someone here says, get to the solution, sir. See, that's
I'm gonna stop it right there. Listen, that's the mindset that won't allow you to grow. That's the mindset that won't even allow you to see what the problem is. And I just explained it. And that's that comment he just read right there kind of shows where we at as a people, man. People they hurry up and get to the solution, sir. Like, you don't even know what the problem is. You don't even know how the fuck you gonna just jump. So we gotta be very diligent about who we listen to, who we don't listen to. The reason why I don't support a lot of the movement, the I don't even want to single them out, but the overly pro black movements, I guess I'll call them. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to disrespect nobody and what they believe in, but I just want to say, to me, a lot of that is a form of separating us and dividing us, as opposed to bringing us together. You hear them throwing out words like, "Oh, you're a tether," like that. That's a dividing line. Also, because I'm black and I was born. My parents ain't from here, but I was born here. Now I ain't black enough. Like, nah, I reject that kind of thinking, bro. Like because that's dividing us and that's divisive. That's not pulling all the black people in. We're gonna need all of us to fight this fight. All of us that's willing gonna have to fight this fight together, man. And we don't need other things that's further dividing us and separating us. And that's just how I feel on all that stuff, man. I'm black. I'm a part of the black struggle, and that's about it. Like, that's all I can give you. Other than that, shit, you know, you just trying to categorize motherfuckers, man. Nah, we need a big tent. You know what I mean? Big tent type of thinking. You know what I'm saying?
With with all due respect, that's low information thinking. Because before you can get to the solutions, you got to understand the problems. Who is it that tries to get to solutions without first understanding what it is they're dealing with? The solutions will arise from the problems, from the evidence, from the data, right?
That's a million percent correct. And that's how I think about life. That's how I go and solve problems. That's how I get up here and talk this shit that I talk, because you got to understand what you're dealing with before you get to dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? How you going to better your relationship with your girl if you don't know your girl, if you ain't been listening to her, if you ain't been taking her out, if you ain't been around her family and seeing what she experienced and what she went through. It's the same concept, man. You know what I mean? The same thing, same thinking.
That's where the solutions come from. So if you don't understand that, if you clock off right now, fine. If you think what I'm saying to you right now about what we're dealing with in terms of getting Trump out of office and in terms of trying to correct the issues that black men deal with, this channel is not for you. This channel is not for you. We are, this family, this community are thinking people. We're thinking people. We value information. We value data. We value evidence. Okay? So that's not a reason to have voted for Trump. But I understand why some men, some brothers especially, have said that the Democratic Party could have done more. And
I don't understand that shit. I ain't gonna even front. OG is way more forgiving than I am, man. God forgives, I don't, my nigga. Bump all that. But I don't understand that, because at the end of the day, if you can't see the two agendas, if you can't see the directions that the Republican side is trying to take us versus what the Democrat side is trying to take us, then I don't know what to tell you, because it's pretty damn clear each and every day. Go to Evanston, Illinois. If you have a question about that, go to Evanston, Illinois, and look up the reparations battle and see which side the Trump administration is sitting on. Now I'll let you know everything that you need to know about what they own.
so they feel like the Democratic Party has been neglectful of the black community. I even have some issues in that area as well. But these are extraordinary times where we have to put those kinds of issues to the side. And by the way, I am talking solutions. Getting Trump, taking back the House and voting in the midterm is very much at the top of the list of solutions, by the way. But that disenchantment with and disillusionment with the Democratic Party is exactly what MAGA has used to turn a whole lot of black men to Trump supporters. You see what I'm saying? That same disillusionment, that same disenchantment. And it seems like the Democratic Party still has not figured out a way yet to address that disillusionment, that disenchantment. All right? So, again, the extremely low employment rate of black men. So, this is the brother that I'm talking about, Dr. Austin, Algernon Austin, PhD. He's a researcher, he's a scholar, he's an advocate for racial justice. He holds a PhD in sociology from Northwestern University, very prestigious university and PhD program. He's a frequent voice on race and economic inequality. So he comes well qualified. Okay. So again, I credit him with all that you're going to hear today, because it's based on a report that he wrote. And if you want to read more about Dr. Austin, he got some other reports there. This is what he does actually in his career. He researches and writes these reports for an organization. It's called the Center for Economic and Policy Equality, I believe it is. I think the initials are CEPR. God, I could be wrong. Anyway, just put his name in and you'll find him. Just Algernon Austin, PhD, and the organization that he works for will come up. And you can go to his page and read other reports that he has put out. All right, now let's listen to a short clip of him in conversation with another scholar. Okay?
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. We're talking black dollar, black politics today. Let's get it.
It's very important, and it's a very good measure. However, it does undercount black joblessness, because when you have...
Tell me right now if there's any feedback. There shouldn't be. So let me know now, early in the video. You know, I've been trying to make sure that we don't have that feedback. I don't think we have it. Everything seems to be good, but let me know in the comments if you hear any kind of feedback.
A weak labor market, people drop out of the labor force, and you have to be in the labor force to be counted as unemployed. But if you're in a community that has a persistently weak labor market, or if you're persistently facing discrimination in the labor market, then your labor force participation will be depressed. So I've done calculations.
So let me make sure you understand that. That is really key to understanding everything he has to say. So typically when I have looked at whether or not the black community, black women, black men, black youth are having a hard time with employment, I typically look at the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate, the rate at which the African-American community or black men or black women, black children are unemployed. He is saying that that rate is good, but it is not. It can be misleading, because he just said that what happens is the unemployment rate does not count everyone who is unemployed, because a lot of black men are not even in the labor force.
Okay, so yeah, I think I alluded to the unemployment rate earlier. So that's good to know that if that's not a solid stat. Hopefully he gives us some metrics that, you know what I mean, that we can add to it, or that we can that's, you know, counter to it, that we could look up to get an accurate number, because I always thought that the unemployment rate was the best, you know, set of statistics that we had. See, even Cali Drake can learn something new in this motherfucker, man.
So if they're not in the labor force, then they can't be counted as unemployed. So that means, therefore, the unemployment rate may not, in fact, is not as high as it really is, because it's not taking into account all the many black men who have completely dropped out of the labor force, who are not even looking for jobs, and so on.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is a 4.2% unemployment rate for black men in black America really might be a 5.2% because it's a bunch of people that ain't even they off the grid as far as the reporting is concerned. So I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. We need to get a number with what we really need is an accurate number or an accurate estimate number of what that segment of the black population is. And then, do some rough math, add that to whatever the unemployment rate is and come up with a rough figure. But that's most definitely something we gotta I may have to try to dig that up myself. But yeah, I gotta get an answer to that. I gotta get an answer to that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man.
So that's what he's saying. He's going to go on to say and explain that a better rate to look at is the employment rate. And I'll let him explain that.
Okay, so he's saying instead of looking at the unemployment rate, which is a bunch of people that's off the grid that we may not be able to accurately capture. Let's look at the employment rate. Let's count how many motherfuckers is showing up to work that look like you and me. Okay, let's hear him out on that. Let's hear him out on that.
And if you calculate the jobs gap, like if you say, well, how many jobs do we need for the black unemployment rate to equal the white unemployment rate? And then you compare it to how many jobs do we need for the black employment rate or employment to population ratio to equal the white employment rate. You find that the employment rate is like 2 to 3 times as many jobs as the unemployment rate. So it's a very significant difference. Again, the unemployment rate is important to watch, and a low unemployment rate is a very good thing. And when you have a low unemployment rate, you do start pulling people into the labor force, so that's great. But there's such a long and deep disadvantage that black men in particular face that the employment rate, I would argue, is a better measure to get a full understanding of the amount of joblessness. And you can see that in my report that I recently released on the CEPR website about black men's extremely low employment rate. You can see that white men, Hispanic men, and Asian men all have prime age, all have employment rates at about 90%. Black prime age men, it's about 80%. So there's a significant gap. And if you look from 2000 to 2025, the average gap is about 11 percentage points lower for black men. So you have this strong and persistent gap, even when you have a tight labor market. So tight labor markets, it shrinks when it's tighter. But even then, you still have a significant gap. And I focus on black men because for black women, the story is different. For black women, when the labor market is tight, the black women's prime age employment rate pretty much equals the white women's. When it's slack, black women drop, below white women. So there's a different dynamic going on. So I think it's really important for people to recognize that this difference exists, and it has a very significant impact on Black America because if Black men had the same employment rate as white men, last year, Black America would have had about 60 billion more dollars in income, and nearly 250,000 Black people would be lifted out of poverty.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, man. We're getting, as Black people in Black America, we're getting all just the men not being in the workforce at an equal rate as, say, white men. That's 60 billion. That's a $60 billion gap, and 250,000 people being lifted out of poverty. That's what we're talking about here. So everybody running around looking for solutions, looking for, what the problem actually is. We're not being hired at a rate the same as white men. When the economy is doing good, we're about 10 to 11% behind. And when the economy shrinks for Black men, that holds. Actually, for Black women, it's a little different, as he explained. When the economy is doing good, they're about on pace with white women. But when it shrinks, they're getting shed too. So Black men starting behind an 11% gap, and when the economy shrinks, it either paces that or goes worse than that. And that's a difference of about $60 billion and 250, a quarter of a million. So what, it's 250,000 Black people getting out of poverty. I'm gonna spin that back because I want to make sure I get that math right. I think he said 250,000 people though. Let me spin that back real quick.
Right, you do start pulling people into the labor force, so that's great. But there's such a long and deep disadvantage that Black men in particular face, that the employment rate, I would argue, is a better measure to get a full understanding of the amount of joblessness. And you can see that in my report that I recently released on the CEPR website about Black men's extremely low employment rate. You can see that white men, Hispanic men, and Asian men all have prime age, all have employment rates at about 90%. Black prime age men, it's about 80%. So there's a significant gap. And if you look from 2000 to 2025, the average gap is about 11 percentage points lower for Black men. So you have this strong and persistent gap, even when you have a tight labor market. So tight labor market, slack labor, it shrinks when it's tighter, but even then you still have a significant gap. And I focus on Black men because for Black women, the story is different. For Black women, when the labor market is tight, the Black women's prime age employment rate pretty much equals the white women's. When it's slack, Black women drop, below white women. So there's a different dynamic going on. So I think it's really important for people to recognize that this difference exists, and it has a very significant impact on Black America, because if Black men had the same employment rate as white men, last year, Black America would have had about 60 billion more dollars in income, and nearly 250,000 Black people would be lifted out of poverty.
Okay, so yeah, I was accurate on it, and that's just on the men's side. That's not even counting if women got the bread and the opportunities that they so rightfully deserve, right? So that's what we dealing with, people. That's why I come on here with so much energy and so much passion about the shit that I stand on, because we getting robbed blind, and I want motherfuckers to wake up to it and do something about it. Period and point blank. So that's why we watching this, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Remember those numbers. Whew, that is astonishing. If Black men had been working, employed at the same rate as white men, there would be an additional $60 billion in the black community and over 1 million more black men in the workforce.
A quarter of a million. But yeah. Well, how many of y'all could use that extra 60 billion? You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all want pieces and parts of that 60 billion that we ain't getting, bro? I could show you some of that. I got bills and like a motherfucker. Hit that Cash App one time. It's real shit. I got black problems in this motherfucker, man. So that's what we're looking at. That's where we're at. That's the importance of the moment. What you gonna do, man?
Wow. We're going to come back to that. Just keep that in mind.
So it's quite significant for Black America. And also, there's been research by William Julius Wilson and others who shows that marriage rates are significantly impacted by economics and the economic condition of men. So if you had higher rates, well, let me back up a little bit. Although Black women's marriage rate is significantly lower than white women's, when you look at data on, asking women, well, would you like to be married? Do you see yourself being married? The rates are very similar for white women and Black women. So the desire to marry is the same. The actual marriage rate is low. And the research shows that the sort of lack of quote unquote marriageable Black men is a big factor there.
You heard that, bruh? You heard that? I hope y'all heard that. I'm about to spin that right the fuck back because I want you dusty motherfuckers to hear this shit. Basically, let me put it in a language that y'all can understand. They don't want no scrubs, bruh. And you're looking like a motherfucking scrub. But it ain't your fault. You know what I'm saying? It ain't your fault. It kind of is, but it ain't. And here's why. Because you got to try to get to the top in spite of that. Right? We all know what the problems is. And I'm a big advocate of teaching the youth and teaching everybody the problems. But, as I try to also stress, we got to put action with that conversation. Because just empty conversation ain't gonna get you where you want to go. That's akin to just sitting on the couch, to me. So basically, what this research shows is that the marriage rate for all you ladies that want to get married, have desires to get married, you know what I'm saying? This is shit y'all should be paying attention to, because the marriage rate is most definitely affected by the jobs rate, right? She don't want no motherfucking scrub. I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't fucking with no broke nigga. that's welcome to America, motherfucker. So at the end of the day, the marriage rate is also affected by the employment rate. If we get that 60 billion back in this motherfucker, you put 250,000 Black men back to work in this motherfucker, then shit, the family structure strengthens. And I think that's what everybody's goal is at the end of the day, right? To have the Black family be solid, not have the YNs out there shooting each other in the streets. Not have pimps running down on a bunch of, some predatory shit out here in the streets, right? Stop hustling. Get the hustlers off the street, right? That's the goal, right? Is that not the goal? So if that's the goal, then this is the solution. Put Black men back to work. Kick over that 60 billion. Put 250,000 of my Black brothers back to work. And the problems that everyone from the national media to, our own Black media to probably your mom and your grandmama who actually seeing this shit going on, all those problems get solved. See, I'm about solutions, man. I'm an analyst by trade. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm about solving problems, man. I always believe that little kids complain and get mad, but grown men solve problems. I'm a grown man. You feel me? Ever since I've been 18, I've been on my own, standing toe to toe with the world on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So for me, man, I look at this shit way differently, man. I try to attack every day and I try to get the most information and the most game and the most bread and the most relationships I can get out of every day and the most love and respect and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm chasing all that. Clout and all that bullshit, I'm not chasing because I can't buy two rolls of toilet paper with some clout. This information right here that we diving into, this the shit right here, man, that I pay attention to. Because at the end of the day, man, you gotta feed your mind as well as you feeding your body, man. If you don't, you know, you just wasting away, man. You become a statistic. And so I'm just tired of that, man. I'm tired of my black people and my black community. I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm tired of us not having the opportunities that we deserve in this motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? I have some things that I want to see us do more and better. But at the end of the day, on the flip side of that coin, I'm most definitely tired of the forces and structures that hold us down and keep us from reaching the promised land in this motherfucker too. So that's why we're watching this, man. Hopefully y'all get something out of this shit.
Marriage rate is low, and the research shows that the sort of lack of quote unquote marriageable black men is a big factor there, and that if you were able to again increase black men's employment rate to the rate of white men's, you would see a higher rate of marriage among black women.
Apartments.com gives landlords the tools to manage your rentals with ease. It's like having a whole team of yous.
Hey, Jim.
Keep generating that lease, Jim.
I'm sorry, what's in the microwave?
Apartments.com, the place to list a place.
Smart Sheet.
Wow. That was one of the best 5 minutes that you could experience, just understanding what our community deals with, especially black men, and how that impacts our entire community on every level. All right? So let's get into this now. So black men's employment rate is a low outlier. In 2025, nearly 90% of white, Hispanic, and Asian American men aged 25 to 54 were employed. Black men in the same age group only approached 80%.
Yeah. Let's pause it right here, man. Let's dive into these statistics, man. You got Cali Dre to break this shit down for you, man. I know y'all ain't no stat majors and all that shit. That's why I'm here, man. That's why I pull up. But so this is prime age 25 to 54 employment to population ratios, 2020 to 2024, right? And so as you can see in this bar graph, the white men's employment rate is 87.2%. Hispanic men 86.7%, Asian men 88.8%, black men 77.6%. So what does that mean? That means that we not in the 80s for one. Like, this is very clear. Like, there's four I'm gonna make this shit as simple as I can for y'all, bro. There's 4 groups on this chart: white, Hispanic, black, and Asian. Which one has the lowest employment rate. All right. There's three ethnicities that are in the 80s, in the over mid 80s at that. We're not talking 81, 82%. No, they had 87, 86, 88%. That's the high 80s. While we are in the 70s. So here's where our $60 billion and our 250,000 black men, this is the gap right here that they've fallen into. I'm showing you, you're looking at the gap right now. Let's continue, man. Is this fucking thing on, bro? Let's continue.
So white men, Latino men, Asian men, 90% employment rate. Black men, 80%. 10% difference. And that has had a huge negative, deleterious impact on our community. Average across 2000 to 2025, the prime age black male employment rate ran 11.4 percentage points below white male rate every single year for the last 25 years, which is, it shows you the mean spiritness of Trump's anti-DEI, anti-civil rights, anti-black policies, because black men are already suffering just from not having an employment rate that is on par with other groups of men in this country. Yet they're trying to cut back even what opportunities we do have. Okay? Even the opportunities that we do have, they're trying to get rid of even those. So this is not about them trying to protect white male dominance. This is just about crushing black men, crushing them, crushing us. That's what this is about, crushing us. It's like we don't want you to have anything. We want you to be back where you were, where your grandfather was, where your great-great-grandfather was, where your great-great-great-grandfather was. This is vicious.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. I hope y'all paying attention to this shit, man. As I predicted, you know what I'm saying? The numbers on this black content, what could really help the black community. Oh yeah, the niggas is asleep on this shit. And I did it in the daytime, so niggas ain't got no excuses. They told Kelly Dre, you be coming on too late and shit. That's why y'all really don't do the politics shit late, because you niggas be asleep. Then I pull up in the daytime and where the fuck y'all at? You know what I'm saying? But this is the problem. Yeah, I did 4 days worth of shows on Krishan Rock's bullshit and got thousands and thousands and thousands of views on that shit. But the shit that really matter, you motherfuckers asleep, man. And that's why we ain't gonna be able to get to where we trying to go when we trying to get there. Let's get it, man.
Men, 86.7% for Hispanic men, 77.6% Black men, 88.8% Asian men. And again, that gap has a huge impact on our community. So what does the gap cost Black America? He told us, but let's look at it again. 1.3 million more jobs for black men are needed in 2025 to match the white male employment rate. 65 billion lost earnings for black America from the black male jobs deficit. Imagine what our community could do with 65 billion more dollars circulating in our community, in our homes. Think about what that could do. Think about the homes that could buy. Think about children that could go to college without going into debt. Think about it. 230,000 additional black Americans likely pushed into poverty by the deficit. Almost 250,000 more black people pushed into poverty, below the poverty line, because of this lower employment rate that black men have in comparison to other men in this country.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Y'all looking at the numbers right here, and I'm gonna pause it right here so y'all can screenshot the numbers and send them to your motherfucking friends, man. Right? 1.3 million more black men needed in 2025 to match white male employment rate. 65 billion lost earnings for black America from the black male jobs deficit. 230,000 additional black Americans likely pushed into poverty by this deficit. The parallel jobs deficit for black women relative to white women ran to roughly 500,000 jobs and about 22 billion in lost earnings. So this is the shit we should be paying attention to. Like I told y'all, bro, I've been running this Krishan Rock toxic BS for the last 4 nights, wondering what the fuck they got going on over there. And thousands of motherfuckers chimed in. I got all kind of comments from motherfuckers I don't know and all this shit. But we talking about what really matters. And I pulled up in the daytime and I'm looking around. Where them thousands of people at, man? Where the fuck y'all at, man? This is the shit that really matters, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that really matters. Shout out to Goldie the Mac in the building. Salute, champ. Dre, I told you do the what'd you say? I told do the history, and it wasn't so surprising. Yeah, bro. Like it's you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different factors, man. I think he's doing a great job of breaking this shit down. You know, it's an employment gap. You know what I'm saying? It's an employment gap and it's a wealth gap. And this is what it looks like. Shout out to Goldie G504 in the building. Salute, fam. Cali, keep up the great content. I mean, I appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. I'm just trying to make comparisons to y'all, man. Like, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit who watch or who don't. Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, because for me, it's just about trying to present good content, right? But I'm looking at the numbers. I can see the numbers right here on my motherfucking screen. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm all up in the bullshit, you know what I mean? When we in the toxic, you know what I'm saying, wasteland. You know what I mean? Oh, nigga, they coming in trolls. I'm getting all kind of random comments. My damn phone blowing the fuck up. But when we talking about what really matters, man, it's not that same response. And I mean, we're not gonna ever get to where we want to be until we have that same level of enthusiasm for the toxic bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That we do for this shit, man. Keep it real. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, though. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
So the official numbers understate the problem. Now, all of this is Dr. Austin's research and scholarship. Okay? Incarceration is excluded. Nearly 400,000 black men are in state and federal prison, and over 200,000 more are in jail. they should count as jobless, but labor statistics leave them out entirely. So they're not counted in with the unemployment rate.
Okay, so that's important to know. So even the employment rate or unemployment rate is about 600,000 black men off because they sitting in jail. And it says about 30% of young black men don't answer government surveys far above the 13% overall rate. Non-responders are more likely jobless. Adjusting for this drops their employment rate by roughly 2 points. Big business for sure. It's big business and misinformation. If y'all didn't know, it's big business and spinning y'all around. And that's that. I understand that. And that's why I get out. That's a large part of the reason I get up here and do what I do, man. And try to provide good information that's solid, that can be substantiated with evidence and facts and sources. Because the motherfucker just want to put you in a trick bag and deplete your bank account. I'm trying to enhance your bank account. You listening to a motherfuckers that want you to spend on them and enhance their bank account. Nah, nigga, I'm trying to enhance your bank account and my bank account. We all can win, nigga. You know what I mean? It's not a zero-sum game. Just because I win don't mean you got to lose. Just because I lose don't mean you got to win. It's enough money in this motherfucker for us all to win if we pay attention to the game and play your motherfucking position. You feel me?
About 30% of young black men don't answer government surveys, far above the 13% overall rate. Non-responders are more likely jobless, adjusting for this drops their employment rate by roughly two points. The point being, these men who are incarcerated, the younger black men who don't answer the surveys, they all should be counted as unemployed, but they're not even counted. So our unemployment rate is not as high as it really is.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, man, listen, people that make money, it depends on how you make your money off of prison, right? If you own prisons, I don't, if that's how you making your money is by imprisoning people and locking them up. I mean, I don't see that I see it as like, okay, you may need jails, you may need prisons, but there are people who predominantly make their income off of that, and just like setting up detention centers and things like that. I don't think that's right. Now, if you a CO, or if you work at the jail serving cafeteria or some shit, like, I mean, you gotta eat. I ain't gonna hate on you, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking more at the big corporate levels, man. People that are profiting off of this 600,000 black men that they're spending in jail, and once they in the system, they continuously gonna be in the system, because when they get out and they get a blemish on their record, they can't get a fucking job. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the system ain't set up for niggas to win. Let's talk about the system, Dr. Nino. You want to talk some system shit? Let's talk some system shit, Dr. Nino. When you if you go to jail, you get anything on your record, any job you apply for is going to ask for that. Cool, that's fair, right? That's fair. But there should be a period of time or a point where either, like, because if you paid your debt to society, that's supposed to mean that you paid your debt to society, right? So I just feel like there should be a special way to categorize. Like, it shouldn't automatically be a fail for you if you have something on your record. Now, if it's some violence and some wild ass shit, that's different. But a lot of people get railroaded because they have some simple charge or some mistake that they made, and that's really not the type of person they is. They might be their only mistake, but they got it on their record, and it prevents them from achieving success, achieving a way out, and that'll force you back into where society says it doesn't want you to be. You see what I'm saying? So it's just the thinking, bro. It's like, okay, a punishment is cool, but at a certain point, you paid your debt to society. So at that point, you should be allowed to reintegrate yourself back into society. Granted, you don't make no more mistakes, you don't fuck up nothing, you keep a clean path. You should be able to flourish and learn and prosper past your mistake. But that's not the way the system is set up. The system is set up now. If you have one mistake, you're pretty much shot for life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much 10 times harder for you to make any kind of living, which forces you to go back into the streets. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, hey, listen, if that's where you got your shares and you profiting off prisons, man, I mean, you got to sleep with yourself on that at night, man. I just know what the incarceration rate looks like, and it unfavorably has black men at the top of that list. So I wouldn't feel comfortable profiting off a system that's taking advantage of black men. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I care about shit like that. I care about where my dollar goes because that's power. I care about where my vote goes because that's power. You know what I mean? It's a million ways to make money, my nigga. Um, that's just my take on it. But yeah, do you, my nigga? Do you? Because at the end of the day, you got to look at you in the mirror every night. Not me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
So the rate of unemployed black men is much higher than what we get every month. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So when we see 7.8% unemployment rate for black men, it's higher than that. It's higher than that. All right? Raising it helps everyone. Black women. So I really want to stress this. So if we raise the employment rate, get more black men employed, here's the impact that it has on our community. First, black women. There are a higher black male employment rate that will raise the number of marriageable men. And black women want to marry at the same rate as white women. In other words, as Dr. Austin said, if you ask black women, do you want to be married? They answer at the same rate as white women. So yes, black women want husbands. This myth about black women just want to just be putting out single parent babies, that's a myth. That is a myth. The truth of the matter is black women want black husbands, okay, as much as white women. It's just that the white women have men in their community who have higher employment rates. And black men are coming in at about 10% less with their employment rate. And so quite naturally, black men who are having issues finding jobs obviously don't want to take on the added extra responsibility of trying to care for a family, and they can't find a job, can't get an interview, can't get, in a position to be able to provide for the family. And
Yeah, the funny thing about that, me and my cousin was having a discussion about this after I left church this morning, man. And bro, that's a real thing. That's preventing him for years from starting a family. It's like, nigga, I could barely take care of my motherfucking self. How I'm gonna start a family, nigga? We'll be out here homeless with a dog or some shit. Like, nah. So this matters, man. This matters. It matters to the entire black community, the foundation, the family, the source, man.
many just sort of say, okay, I'm clocking out. Or even if they want to get married, a lot of women are saying, well, look, you're not in a position to take care of yourself. So this has an impact on our family situation. You know, there's just this thing that black people don't want to build strong families, and black people don't want to be hardworking, responsible husbands and fathers. And so you hear that coming a lot from white conservatives, even some black conservatives. It's not true. This is research. This is what the data shows. How are Black children impacted by this? More employed fathers means less family poverty, which research links to stronger academic achievement and fewer behavioral problems.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, higher academic achievement, fewer behavioral problems. If you got some badass kids and pops can't find a job and he ain't around, I mean, there's probably a link there. It's probably a correlation there. If we can get pops back in the home with a job, y'all work that shit out. Even if you don't financially, you still can take care of the kid. There's less behavioral issues down the line that you got to deal with, even with your kids. So this is how everything is connected. You know what I'm saying? This is how everything is connected. You feel me? Oh, you disagree? If you disagree, put it in the motherfucking comments, man. Let's get to it. That's why I pulled up. You know what I mean? I listen to evidence and research, man. I don't listen to anecdotes. But drop it in the comments if you disagree, because I'm trying to show y'all the link. And if you will allow yourself to open your mind for a second, just to look at how the connect, it's very simple. It's very simple. It's very simple, right? If you can strengthen the Black man in the household, you strengthen the household, right? It's a very simple concept. You strengthen the household, you strengthen the community. You know what I mean? Like, I very much agree with that, because I'm looking at an unstrong situation right now, and we see how that play out in the streets every day. So a bunch of young dumbass niggas out here shooting each other up and doing a bunch of goofy ass shit. I'm gonna drop the link at the end of this, man. I'm gonna drop the link. Y'all stick around. Yeah, yeah, man. We can get to it. But you're looking at was $60 billion less and 250,000 less Black men in the workforce. You're seeing what it looks like every day. And every day and night, motherfuckers is on different platforms complaining and talking and arguing and debating and all that. So we see what it looks like when we don't have that support. We're living in it. We're living through it right now. But what the research shows is that support was there. It strengthens all ties. A rising tide raises all boats, man. You know what I mean? And then so if you can help strengthen the Black man in his economic situation, he's gonna take that money back home usually and help his family. That strengthens his family. You know what I'm saying? Now he don't got to do a bunch of crazy shits in the streets. That now safens the streets. Now the streets are safer. So you're solving multiple problems just by attacking this one problem. I want y'all to really understand that. You solving 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different problems just by solving this one problem. And that's called bang for buck. That's a bang for buck. You know what I mean? Situation. You're going to get the most bang for your buck by just doing the right thing, as opposed to trying to band-aid around a bunch of other shit that don't got nothing to do with nothing. But if you do this one thing, the chances that you can fix 5 or 6 or 7 other problems that you know are serious problems, why would you not do that? That's the difference between me and y'all, I guess, because I see the link and I see the connections, man. Let's get back to it. We're gonna chop it up at the end of this, though. I'm gonna drop that link.
Conservatives, even some Black conservatives, it's not true. This is research. This is what the data shows. How are Black children impacted by this? More employed fathers means less family poverty, which research links to stronger academic achievement and fewer behavioral problems. Safer communities, summer jobs, subsidized employment, and workforce nonprofits all measurably reduce street crime and criminal recidivism. Money, jobs, employment all have a huge impact on communities. And again, these racist myths and tropes that our community, it's our culture, it's just black culture, black culture, black culture. No, we'll see what the problem is. We'll see why black men are so underrepresented when it comes to the employment rate in just a moment. And you'll see it's not culture. I mean, if you listen to some of these conservatives, including some black conservatives, black people, black men in particular, and black women, we just have just low, not only IQ, but low morality. All that's lies. Those are lies. Of course, you got bad people in every group, right? Of course you do. You got bad people in every group. But man, the hell that we've dealt with in this country, that's not playing the victim's role. That's just being factual. And now they're trying to roll back the progress that we have made. This makes my blood boil, to be quite frank. I know these things because I researched this stuff. I know they're lying. And it's just so aggravating to see black people, especially quite often our black Christian brothers and sisters. And then, as you know, I'm a minister. I'm a preacher. I am a committed Christian Christ follower. But I know how some black Christians can be easily manipulated by white Christians.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can.
Yeah, man. OG gonna keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a smart dude, and he's got some spirituality going. So I hope y'all find some value in this. We gonna chop it up though. I'm gonna drop this link in a minute.
What is causing this? Lack of job skills? Is it the neglect of the Democratic Party? Or is it systemic racism? So what is the cause? Is it a lack of job skills? Are there brothers out here who just don't have the same job skills that white, Hispanic, and Asian men have? Is that the issue? Or is it the neglect of the Democratic Party? Is that the issue? Or is it systemic racism? Well, for the answer, we don't need anecdotes. We don't need low information opinions. What someone called low information, high opinions. We need data. We need research. We need the information that people like Dr. Austin and folks in his academic community spend their time every day researching and then writing about. And then it's our job for us to take that information and use our platforms to get this information out, because they have put out a narrative right? White conservatives, MAGA, they have put out a narrative that is black culture. Black people don't want to do right. Black people just, they're just savages and so on. That's the narrative that they've put out over the hundreds of years. So what does the data say is the actual issue?
Listen, I'm letting it play because I ain't got no disagreement in what the brother's saying. Everything this brother's saying, it reflects everything that the Remix with Cali Dre stands on. Hit that like button and subscribe to this motherfucking channel, man.
So, hard skills. Education doesn't explain it. Why? If weak, hard skills cause the gap, black men should be the least educated group. They're not. Only 9.1% of black men lack a high school credential versus 25% of Hispanic men. Look at that. Look at that. Hispanic men, many first generation, have lower education credentials and yet have a higher employment rate than black men.
Yeah. There it is. There's another important factor, right? Hispanic men are at what, 86.7%. They're employed at. That's their employment rate. Black men is 77.6%. But only 9.1% of black men lack high school credentials versus 25% of Hispanic men. That's staggering. I mean, that's unbelievable, right? If that was the case, you would expect the Hispanic number to be not 86.7%. What's 86.7 minus 25? Do the math. 61%, 60%? That's where their employment rate should be, at 60%. But it's still at 86.7%. So what that means is we getting railroaded. I'm gonna make the fuck all the math. I'm gonna make the plain English. We getting jammed. We getting railroaded in this motherfucker. On all sides. What you gonna do about it, man?
So education, that's not the issue. Now, get all the education you can get, because Dr. Austin says black men hold bachelor's and advanced degrees at slightly higher rates than Hispanic men. Yet Hispanic men are employed at 86.7% and black men at just 77.6%. White men's education edge over Hispanic men is even bigger than over black men, but white and Hispanic employment rates are nearly identical. So get the education. But what we find out from the data is a white high school dropout can do just as well when it comes to jobs as a black man with a bachelor's degree.
Oh, that's a motherfucking fact. I see it every day in corporate America and been seeing it for the last 20 years that I've been in corporate America. So that's a fact. And trust me, I'd have been from the mailroom to the motherfucking boardroom in this bitch. And at all levels, it exists.
Fewer skills required, wider the gap. 9.6 points. Less than 9.6 points. Black-white employment gap, prime age, men, all education levels. All right, 9.6 points less. Okay, 16.6 points less. Black-white gap for young men without a high school diploma. So this is showing you that there is some favoritism there. If low hard skills drove the gap, it should shrink in low skilled jobs. Instead, it nearly doubles. Something other than skills is driving Black men's low employment rate. More education helps. So yes, get the education, but the gap remains. Look at this. Just look at the graph. The dark blue, white men. The light blue, Black men. Less than high school. White men can have less than high school and still have over a 10-point advantage over Black men. Even if you come way over to advanced degrees, 94.7% of white men with advanced degrees, 91.6% of Black men. Yet the white men have still the higher employment rate. But look at how bigger the gap is when it's less than high school. So what does that say? That say get as much education as possible, because that gap starts closing the more education a brother has. But it doesn't quite close the gap because there's another factor. So I want you to understand me carefully. The lower the education level, the bigger the gap, the employment gap of white and Black men. So brothers who get the education, they start closing the gap, but it never really quite closes. But still, it's better to get as much education as possible because that helps.
And I want to tap in real quick on that. I think getting the education helps in a lot of different ways, right? Having an education, how can I explain this shit, bro? It's like turning the light on. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when that light turned on for me. I was like 12 years old. I was reading a science book, and I actually understood what the fuck they was talking about. I could see the experiment in my head. I was like, damn, this shit makes sense. And that was it. Like, you know what I mean? Then, you know, I wasn't afraid of it. I you know what I mean? I dove into it. But having an education, man, it allows you to see the play. How you gonna play a game? How you gonna strap up and get in the game if you don't know the playbook? If you ain't never got no in-game minutes, how the fuck you gonna know how you gonna know how to play? How you gonna know how to get in your stance? How you gonna know how to shoot the Jimmy? How you gonna know how to set a fucking screen? And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're in the game, just running around, not knowing what the fuck we're doing, because we don't know the fucking play. And so that's what I try to do with this channel, man. Just try to put the playbook out there. Hopefully you motherfuckers read it, and you better equipped for the game.
What about soft skills? The theory says Black men lack the customer-facing manner service jobs demand. Okay, so it may not be education that's needed in some jobs, but the theory is that Black men lack even those soft skills, so-called soft skills. All right, the occupational data says the opposite because it's a myth. And high soft skills jobs like healthcare support and personal care and less educated young Black men match or beat their white peers. We actually, as Black men, have even greater than white men those soft skills. Okay? But that doesn't close the gap, doesn't come close to it. Where white men lead is the low soft skill blue collar trades. And there's a strong argument, folks, for trades. Okay, I grew up in a family that was all about trades. My older brother was a a brick mason. Okay, and he did well. He did very well. He built his first home when he was like 19, 20 years old, right out of high school, a couple years out of high school, because he was making that big brick laying money. I remember that. 18, 19, he was about 20 years old, about 2 years after he graduated high school. This is back in the 70s.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of trades as well. You know what I mean? It's different types of education, man. Just get good at something. Don't be good at talking shit. I mean, shit, even you can probably get some money talking shit. That's what I'm trying to do, talking to you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But be good at something else too, though. Like have some other skills other than just talking a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's what this whole shit is about, man. It's because it's not a skills gap. Like we have we're at a higher high school education rate than Hispanics, but yet Hispanics are employed at a higher rate than we are, at about a 10 or 11% higher rate than we are. So it's not education. Education just closes. I mean, it just narrows the gap. It doesn't close it all the way. So you need education plus. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna dive in the rest of that, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. We're talking black dollar today. Let's get it, man. Black economics, black politics. That's what we on, man.
And me and my father worked for him. We did the labor work for him. And he had a crew who would go around and get these real, high-paying brick mason jobs, and did well and employed.
Here, I'm gonna skip past a little bit of this. See what else we could get out of this. Oh, gee, he reminiscing right now. Let me see what else we can get out of this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Cost $200.
Walking in the sunshine, saying.
Man, y'all know how I feel about these commercials. I ain't monetized yet. Hit that cash app as well for your boy one time. Let's go.
What is the smoking gun here? Why are black men having such a hard time with our employment rate? Same skills, very different doors. Even higher skills sometimes on our part. Both jobs need minimal training. Young white and black men land freight and warehouse jobs at nearly the same rate. But white young men get construction and labor jobs at 3.6% versus just 0.5% for black young men. Skills can't explain that. Recruitment and hiring can. So the evidence points to systemic racism. That's not playing the victim card. That's just the facts based on the evidence. This country is still extremely racist. Systemic racism is still very much a part of this nation.
That's a fact. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to hear somebody else saying it other than Cali Dre. You know what I mean? That's a motherfucking fact.
Now, do you remember when Tim Scott and, by the way, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden said that America is not a racist country? Remember Nikki Haley said that as well?
Yeah, but that's politics. You got to say what you got to say, man. You don't want to turn people off. It's just like when you work in customer service, the customer is always right for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So you got to play that game, man. We're not gonna disparage politicians for being politicians to a certain extent. You got to play the game. But the reality is the reality, and I think you can still carry both messages. Like I think you can carry the message of, the country is not a completely 100%, racism free. But I think there's people that want to try to make it better, and that's kind of the play you gotta play. You can't say it's completely not racist because that's not true. You know what I mean? But we can always do better with that, man. Always do better with our race relationships and things like that, man. So, Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. It most definitely has to be. I don't really even care so much about saying it. Like, what are we doing about it? I'm not big on, like, I'm up here talking and I'm trying to make something out of this talking type shit, but I'm an action type motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, actions speak louder than words do. And so I always try to stress matching whatever action that's relevant to your rhetoric, and that'll just make everything stronger, man. So most definitely, most definitely. Let's continue.
My opinion, this is the data, 2020 survey data. My opinion means nothing. This is data. This is based on studies. This is based on research. This is not based on anecdotes. Because we could all sit here and say, well, I know Jamal, and Jamal doing real good. Yeah, but line up 1,000 Jamals.
Yeah, that's a fact. And listen, as I've been hopping in and out of platforms, chopping it up with a lot of you different people from a lot of different places, man. That is a that is a very common thing that I hear. Oh yeah, I know little Larry down the street, he did this and he did. That's anecdotal evidence. You know what I'm saying? If you line up 1,000 little Larrys, that number, most of them little Larrys ain't gonna make it. So we always got to keep that in mind, man. This show is about context. It's about facts. It's about evidence. And when it's a bunch of bullshit, I'm gonna tell y'all. You know what I mean? If I'm throwing some bullshit out there, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all harassing me in this motherfucker, man. But this is facts, and that's what I try to stand on in my messages on my platform, and just who I am every day in these California streets, man.
And see how they did when they sent their resumes and applications in. Communities with more anti-Black bias produce worse economic outcomes for Black men. And we're now dealing with an administration that is extraordinarily anti-Black. I mean, early on in this administration, they fired Charles Q. Brown, 4-star general. That sent a slap in the face of Black people, Black men in particular.
Yeah, that's a fact. And the reason why is because I think Lloyd Austin was like, he's probably like the highest uh military person. I think Biden nominated him to be like the highest serving military person ever, right? So a Black 4-star general, that's not something that we get, you know, that we're gonna have access to every day. You know what I mean? And so for Trump to come in and immediately do that as one of his first moves, most definitely sent a message to Black America. Now, was Black America listening? That's the motherfucking question. Because I've been listening since I seen Elon throw that Nazi sign up, and even before then, hell, and in Trump's first term, and when I seen him come down that goofy ass escalator on that Obama hate shit, I knew what time it was. I just didn't have a microphone then, but I got one now. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. I hope y'all learning some shit, man.
That man spent his adult life qualifying for that position. No one more qualified than Charles Q. Brown. Got fired. And the argument was because it wasn't based on meritocracy. He hadn't earned it. Let me tell you something. When a Black man earned 4 stars, that Black man really has earned 8 stars. They really should put 8 stars on his chest.
Fact.
Because what's the old saying? We got to do twice as good. So you double every star by 2, and it shouldn't be 4 stars for a Black man. It ought to be 8 stars.
Facts.
Because not only did he catch hell trying to get where he is, his daddy caught hell. His granddaddy caught hell. His great-great-granddaddy caught hell.
That part. Let's go. OG cooking, man.
Honesty has always been our policy, but the choir's
Yeah, OG cooking, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. This the remix with Cali Dre. We talking black politics, black wealth gap in America, black dollar. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, shit, we can help increase some of your money too, man.
Can I just talk to you today? Can we just talk? Can we just be upfront and straight? Systemic racism is the issue. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want us talking about it. If we do talk about it, they call it woke. They call it critical race theory.
That's a fucking fact. Listen, I got to jump right in on that. And I want to talk about this whole woke thing, right? Because when I was growing up, being woke meant that you was aware of the black issues. Black America was woke. The black fist. The fuck you think that shit was all about? That was the spirit of being woke. And so that has now been weaponized by these MAGA goofy conservatives and is used as some type of insult to people who ain't with the bullshit and ain't with going back to 1817 1662 in this motherfucker, man. So please believe when this whole woke thing, I thought that was the stupidest shit that they could ever try to do. But you know what? They were very successful in weaponizing that and using it as an insult towards, you know, liberal-minded people or minorities, black people in particular. Black issues is when they bring it up. So we gotta take that shit back. I'm way woke, nigga. I'm woke to all the bullshit. You know what's funny? The funny thing is, Donald Trump can't stay woke now. He was talking all that Sleepy Joe shit. His ass can't stay woke at a press conference. That's the woke they need to be paying attention to. Wake your fucking president up at the Resolute desk. Drooling all over the motherfucking confidential papers and shit. Top secret information. Man, I'm getting off track. But y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. I'm gonna drop that link too. And we gonna get it. We get some things sorted out in this motherfucker, man. Hit that like button.
If we talk about it. Okay? They don't want to be reminded of it. They want to ignore it. They want to have amnesia despite these studies. In fact, now what they're trying to do is get rid of the data. Stop collecting data.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact all the way. And that's very important, man. That's very important actually, because their refusal to collect the data, then they can just play stupid and say it's not a problem. Well, we don't got no data. But you stop collecting the data. That's why you don't have no data. That's a choice. That's a choice being made to be blind to the issue that the data was collecting. So that's very important, man. When you hear them talking about we're not taking the data, because it's always the black issues that they want to stop taking data on, or the environmental issues, or the issues that make Donald Trump look bad and go against the bullshit policies that he supports. That's where they want to stop collecting data. The weather, the National Weather Service, the National Forestry Service that stop wildfires and shit. The health department. I find it so funny that the motherfucker who allowed COVID to get in here still devalues the health department. It's like some motherfuckers never learn. I learn from mistakes. That's why all this shit is so stupid to me. But I just feel like maybe maybe I need to raise my voice a little bit. Maybe I need to put a microphone in front of my face and start talking about this shit. And maybe that'll help change some shit. I don't know. Maybe not. Either way, I'm gonna still roll up and blaze one up at the end of the night and make my situation better as I've always done. But it don't gotta be that hard, man. We can work together, man. We can link up, we can put plays together, and that's the power of this shit, right? And I just want to say this, man. The reason why I'm not big on engaging in all kind of internet bullshit, for lack of a better word, bro, is because I see this as a tool for me to reach higher heights and not lower heights. You know what I mean? Not lower levels. I can go outside and get in the gutter if I want to. But I use this tool as to try to inspire, network, monetize. And information. Get good information out there. So that's just how I look at shit, man. It's about your perspective. You know what I mean? How you doing life is about your perspective. You know what I'm saying? You don't like your situation, change that motherfucker, man. But you gotta know how to change it. You gotta know what game you in. You gotta know who's got your back and who don't. You gotta know who's putting obstacles in your way and who's not. So that's what we're trying to do today, man.
Everybody ain't ready for the truth. Everybody not ready for the truth. Everyone is not ready for the truth. But we got to speak it anyway. Discrimination, not deficiency. You're not deficient, black man. We black men, we're not deficient. We don't have a criminal gene. It is not black culture. It is not laziness. We're not, although we were bred to be during slavery, we are not just breeders. God did not make us inferior to anyone. Don't ever let anyone tell you that. We're made in God's image just like everybody else. Don't let this racist country tell you that. Black man, you're just not getting the same opportunities. Your daddy didn't get the opportunities. Your granddaddy didn't get the opportunities. Ever since our folks stepped off the boat, we haven't gotten the opportunities. Hard skills don't explain the gap. Soft skills don't explain the gap. Anti-black discrimination is left standing as the likely cause. So better skills still help black men, yes, get the skills, get the education. They just won't close the gap alone because of that anti-black discrimination.
Yeah, man. Anybody tell you discrimination ain't real, they're not living in the real world. Period and point blank. And if you do find them, send them over here and let them holler at your boy Cali Dre. Get their ass on the motherfucking show, and we'll turn this bitch up all the way. But facts is the facts. And that's what we standing on.
Therefore, the reason why we should never, ever, 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 ever vote for a political party, the GOP, that is committed and wedded to white supremacy.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I mean? That's a fact. OG cooking, man. Shout out to OG for doing this video too, man. He got a lot of good content over there. Make sure y'all subscribe. Defiant Lawyer, man. You do a lot of good content highlighting this very topic. Let's get it.
So, before I go, let's talk about what needs to be done to fix these issues. This is what.
Okay, here we go. Now we cooking, man. We finna get to the solutions, man. I like problem solving. I like solving the problem so we ain't got to deal with the shit no more. So let's see what kind of gems and jewels we can get out of this segment of the show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy on this. Let's get it.
Dr. Austin said, these are his recommendations. He says affirmative action. Require real recruitment and serious consideration of qualified Black applicants to counter both bias and network-driven hiring.
We had that. We had that. And this goofy ass administration, and then probably some of the previous conservative administrations as well, contributed to us losing that. So we already had that. Here go the solutions right here. Everybody want to know what the solutions is to close the Black wealth gap in America and to increase the Black experience, enhance the Black experience in America. This is what we need to do. We need to actually be able to get affirmative action back in place. That will require them to help us get that $60 billion we lost that we talked about earlier from the 10% of men that ain't been in the job force. The 250,000 motherfuckers that out of work, that ain't getting a check, that ain't bringing it back to their woman and their kids and their community. Let's get it, man. Is this thing on?
So, in other words, affirmative action is needed because it forces the system to be fairer, more fair. But what do? They got rid of affirmative action on purpose, as if Black men were getting some unfair advantage. This country is so deeply racist. So deeply racist. From the Supreme Court on down. Affirmative action is needed. They gutted it, but it's needed to force the system. So we need to get in power. We need to put people on the Supreme Court to remake and to reestablish affirmative action.
Right. For those that's just joining, man. So a part of his solution is that we need to have a strategic mobilization at the ballot box, right? The way that MAGA took over the Republican Party, we as Black people need to assert our dominance in the Democratic Party. And I actually agree with that. I agree with a little bit of everyone's solutions, believe it or not. Wherever side that you on and what Black people should do in this Black struggle, I probably agree with you a little bit. I think we need to have a little bit of each kind of sauce and be ready for whatever the fuck come up in this motherfucker. But we got to do it together. And we got to get right fast, man.
We need a national job program. Number 2, even in a strong economy, many communities face high joblessness. A targeted jobs guarantee reaches them directly. Because again, we're dealing with this anti-discrimination. So even when the jobs are plentiful, even when the jobs are circulating, even when the economy is doing well, black men still, you know that, the unemployment rate for the black community and black men in particular is still very high. The lowest it's been, watch this, watch this, watch this. The lowest it's been in history was 4.8% in 2023, April of 2023, under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. So that's why earlier when he said a lot of black men ran to the Republican Party and ran to Trump based on the economics, I mean, that's where I think some of that is cap. And I think, there's other factors that the real reasons that they didn't want to really have Kamala Harris in there. She's a black woman. She's married to a white man. There's a large part of the South, Southern black men that wasn't with that. I've spoken to them. I've talked to them. I've argued with them. I just know that shit to be true. Me, I don't care who you fucking. As long when does my check come? What is your agenda when you getting these roads, bridges, jobs, and education programs going? That's just me though.
So a targeted jobs guarantee reaches them directly. So we need a national jobs program that's built on fairness. The country does better. White people, listen to me. This is not zero sum. The country does better when everyone is able to produce at their maximum potential. That doesn't take away from anyone. That's more in the pot. 10% less black men working than other men, that's 10% of productivity that the country is losing out on. But people are so doggone racist that they rather see the country lose out than oftentimes to see a black man get a fair chance.
Preach, brother.
Guys, if you're still balding in 2026,
then that's
what
your
are
problem. Hit that like button, subscribe to this motherfucking channel, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm gonna drop that link in a minute too, man. Y'all can get y'all shit off, man, and we can see where y'all at with this whole thing. But I thought this was pretty impactful, very informational, and vital to where everybody said they want to be in this motherfucker, man.
Out on. But people are so doggone racist that they rather see the country lose out than oftentimes to see a black man get a fair chance. Number 3, expand high-quality early childhood education and apprenticeships, helpful gains, even if not a full fix. These help. Early childhood education so that our children can hit the ground running. When they hit first grade, when they hit second grade, when they hit third grade, they're ahead of the ball game. And hopefully that will enable them to keep that head start throughout school so that when they graduate high school, they can go to college and do well and so on. That helps. Still dealing with that anti-discrimination, but get the qualification, get the skills, get the education. We just saw that. And at the same time, the trades. I think it's a good idea, quite frankly. I read this in a book by I can't remember the person's name, but it's a Jewish guy. He said that in the Jewish culture, even if a person is going to medical school or law school or something else like that, business school or whatnot, it is still the responsibility of the father to help that boy learn a trade while he's young, learn some kind of trade so that he has a trade and he then goes off to college and always got something that he can still get out here and hustle with. You see?
Yeah, that's real game right there, man. That's real parenting. That's real good advice. You know what I'm saying? You most definitely want to give your kids as many tools as they can have to succeed out here. Um, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Can't disagree with that.
So the fixes: affirmative action, a national jobs program, education and skills, including trades. I've been so inspired, by the way. There's this young man that I have been following on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, he finna dive into a whole little story, man. I think that's pretty much the end of this video. Uh, let me get back to the big screen, man. This the remix with Cali Dre. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with your boy, man. I'm on some educational shit today. I told y'all I was gonna pop out in the daytime and bring y'all something impactful, man. So I hope, I hope this gave y'all some tools and some education and some knowledge, man, that y'all can pass forward. Share this video, share this live, man. I'm gonna try to do something like this every Sunday. Miss US Navy was supposed to pull up on me, but she had a change of plans, man. So I think I'm gonna get her in here next week. Matter of fact, here, let me drop this link real quick. Since motherfuckers, we got some disagreements in the house tonight. There it is, man. The door is now open. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. Let's chop it up on this video, man. Let me know what y'all think. What y'all, how y'all feeling about this content, man? I thought it was pretty dope. Very informational, man. Like I said, I spent the last 4 days covering what's going on in the No Jumper Whack 100 and the YG and the Krishan Rock saga and toxicity and all that bullshit. And the shit turned up, nigga. I had the channel look like a channel I didn't even recognize. And now when I'm talking about the things that really matter, you see the serious people and the people who got, that's woke, I guess. Or understand what we at as black America, they pull it up. You feel me? Let me see what's going on here, man. Well, let me see what's going on here. What's up with you, family? How you living, man?
Dre, what's happening, bud?
What's up with you,
fam?
You got a little echo, man. Here, hold on. I got Yeah, you got a little echo, man. You gotta fix that. We're gonna get Goldie the Mac in this motherfucker at some point. He been talking shit the whole damn show. So we're gonna let him get in here and get his shit off and see if we can come to some understanding around this motherfucker, man. That link is in the chat though, man.
I'm ready to pop up. Dre,
what up,
fam? Go ahead. I got an echo.
A little bit. Go ahead.
You want me to try again?
No.
Go ahead. Get this shit off. Okay. Where you want to start, brother? Where you want to start?
I mean, it's on you.
It's on you. Okay. Okay. Let me say it like this. This old baby boomer rhetoric that this nigga is spreading, whack. He's giving you the same ass bullshit that's always been told. He keeps saying, get the education. Okay, cool. Education in what, though? Since you want to give out the game, in what? Because now a lot of our chicks are the most motherfucking educated, but they don't give you the other side. They the most in debt. So what good is that paper if they ain't got no money and that shit is on their credit? And they can't.
All right, here I had to mute you real quick because you echo. You ain't echoing when you talking, but you echoing when I talk. So let me respond to that. So look, I thought OG brought a lot of good points to the table. I thought this was a dope video, to be honest with you, because the things that you've been hearing that need to be done are the things that's what's going on. And the problem I think you having is that what's going on and where we at hasn't changed. That's why you're hearing the same shit, because none of this shit has changed. Right? And so the first part of the video, he's highlighting the problem. But this last part of the video, he's offering solutions. And I think that's how you come to solve a problem. Right? You may not agree with, his approach, but the information he's presenting is pretty solid, and the facts are the facts, my nigga. Like I don't know what it is that you disagree with. Maybe that's where I'm fucked up at. Explain to me what exactly that you disagree with.
I disagree when he keeps saying, and then like everybody else saying, but I understand and I get it. Because just like him, the baby boomers and everybody else, right? They follow that MLK bullshit, follow that Democratic bullshit. See, what he ain't telling you is that, nigga, it's been written in the Constitution. And that's why I said it in the chat. Black men are never equal. It was written.
Yeah, but
you got that.
A lot of that there was amendments, bro, right? And there was amendments to the Constitution, bills of rights that enhanced our rights, the civil rights movement that further enhanced our rights. So you're just hearkening back to the original Constitution, and that's what a lot of conservatives do. But there's been progress. There has been progress since then. We got amendments, we got the Bill of Rights, we got civil rights movement, right? That's progress. That's taking the torch from the Constitution and bringing it forward. Here's something else, right? And then hopefully this gives you some perspective into how I think about it. I think Obama put this shit very, very articulated it very well, right? And basically what he said was the framers of the Constitution, they put that shit together, but each generation, it's our job to take the baton and make it better, to make it a more perfect union. You know what I mean? And we can't always depend and live. We can't live off of what they did. We got to live off what we able to do too. And so that's why I like having these conversations, man, because it's not just about what's on the Constitution. Yeah, okay, but you got to realize there's been amendments after that. There's been civil rights movements after that. There's been legislation and progress after that. And that's what this current administration is eating into, is that progress. They're trying to take us back to just that Constitution shit. You got it. Go ahead.
Okay, so you want to talk about amendment. So what about the 14th Amendment, where it said black men are 3/5 of a man? That's next to a fucking cow, a chicken, livestock. It was written. And who wrote it? The Democratic Party. Because, nigga, and that's why motherfucking Skull be tripping so much. And I understand why he trips. Shout out to Skull, right? And shout out to you. I fuck with both of you niggas heavy. That's my disclaimer. But at the same time, right, I understand. But nigga, that's the enslaved states. Why you think all this shit keep popping up? Carmelo and the other nigga in Mississippi. Why you think all that shit keep on?
Hold on. Before you get too far, hold on. Let me just respond real quick to what you said about the Democratic Party and the politics part of it, right? Because what you have to understand is that those labels have changed over the years, bro. So like today's Democratic Party has changed 4 or 5 times. It was the Republicans, and they was the Democrats, and the same for the Republicans, bro. So it's not even an accurate assessment to say that something that the Democrats did in the 1800s is the same party as today. And it's the same for the Republicans. They both switched labels throughout 4 or 5 times, from my understanding of history. So I think when conservatives make that argument and when they try to stand on that, that's a what they call a straw man argument, right? Like it's you standing on quicksand with that, because if you really go look at the history, you go see that the fucking labels have changed 4 or 5 times. The Democrats of today, they was on some Republican shit, and the Republicans was on some Democrat shit. Like, so that's just what it was. But you can't to try to make an argument to say that what Democrats are doing today is should also be added to what the people called themselves Democrats in the 1800s. Like, nah, that's a false statement, bro. It just is.
How? How is that a false statement? Please
I
answer.
just explained it.
Okay. Dre, how many times the Democratic Party up to now been in office within years?
What you mean? It switches every 4 years, my nigga. Probably 50. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So you had Obama for the whole 8, then Trump, then guess who came in? Your boy Biden, and then Trump again. They was in it. They was already in it for 12 years, damn near 12 years straight. And then I remember you saying, "Oh yeah, Google this, Google," and you always talk about gas prices, right? When was the highest? Because you might want to say now, right? Of the gas prices, go back. It was 22. Gas was up to 7 in the Bay.
But what does that mean, though, Doctor? Hold on, you just throwing a bunch of random shit out there, Doctor. You know, you're not connecting no dots, my nigga. I need you to connect some dots, my nigga.
So you want me to connect some dots? What I'm trying to tell you is that they was 12 years strong. And you ain't heard nothing about motherfucking Trump being racist until now. Right? Motherfuckers talking about true. When's the last time you heard Trump was racist? Back in 2016?
Have you ever heard of the Central Park 5, my nigga? See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, niggas don't listen. Let me break it down for you now, bro. Since you didn't ask, I'm gonna break this shit down for you. The Central Park 5 were 5 black men that were accused, I believe, of raping or unaliving a young white woman or something like that. Donald Trump was on the front line trying to get these boys the death penalty. And it turns out they didn't even do it. We're exonerated, all that shit. And Donald Trump has never apologized for that. Even after they were exonerated, he still was pushing for them to get the death penalty. So that's the first area that I'm going to disagree with. People was calling you racist. That has actually happened in the 80s. And then the second thing is Donald Trump and his father were known as like racist slumlord type of landlords in the early 80s. And they had discrimination lawsuits against them in the early 80s. Probably late 70s. So those are the facts, my nigga.
So if those are the facts, so why you not talk? You might not know. But it really sounds like when you talk about the Central 5, right? It really sounds like when Trump helped that black woman that was getting raped by the 3 black dudes. Threw her in the Trump hotel and then paid for her motherfucking her hospital bill.
When did this Trump Superman story come up, bro? I've never heard that before in my life.
It happened in the 80s. All you got to do is your research, brother, right? Just like I told on Skull. Nigga, Trump fucked with a black woman for 2 years straight. And I said, most of the niggas right now can't even fuck with a black broad 2 years straight. But Trump did. Late 90s. Carl Johnson. Light-skinned, looked like Aaliyah. Oh, and then early, and then in the early.
Hold on, Dr. Nino. Hold on. I just researched that first point that you just threw out here, brother. And I can't find. I'm on Google right now looking for that shit, my boy. And I there's nothing. When I put in, and the question I asked, did Trump help a rape victim in the 80s? That's all I put in there. And there's nothing. The only thing that there's more shit on here about him being in the Epstein files. I don't see nothing, brother. So I don't know where. I've never even heard that before in my life.
But black woman. And if you can't, and you got to remember, we on the little hatch thing. You feel me? This is the little hatch. But if you can't find it there, go to YouTube. It's video. Him stating it.
Okay, there's video of him stating it. I don't give a fuck about what he's stating because he's a liar. So I don't care what comes out of Trump's mouth. I can't find one report about that. So I'm gonna have to dismiss that. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's some Republican bullshit that they didn't fed y'all that you buying into. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I see nothing. I'm on page like 4 now. I don't see anything. So I'm gonna hand it back to you. Let's
Dre, you know I fuck with you heavy, right? But look though, I'm gonna buzz you in. I'm gonna do the research and send it to you. No problem. You know what I mean? I'm gonna buzz you in. But at the same time, though, bro.
Yeah,
let me know, man.
Let me know. Because I don't see anything. I see Trump, Epstein all over the place. And this again, Doctor, you know what I mean? Listen, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in. This is why we had these conversations, man, because I'm gonna go look this shit up right now. Like right when you tell me some shit that I know is bogus, nigga, I'm gonna go look that shit up right now because this is what I expect y'all to do. This is why I get on here, bro. I want y'all to fact check me. This is why I do this shit. Fact check me. You know what I'm saying? And if I ain't square, then nigga, I'm gonna get right. But I've been doing this now 5-6 months. I don't get a lot of pushback on the information I throw out there, bro, because I vet what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, if you got people going in your lane, why would they? But you got to understand, nigga, the Democratic Party wanted to always keep you enslaved. They started the KKK. They started the CIA. Like, come on, bro. And we already know what happened in the 80s, in the 90s.
Dr. Nino, you still are not understanding what I'm saying to you, brother. The whatever Democratic Party you think started the KKK, they were the actual Republicans of today. They called themselves the Democrats, but they were the Republicans of today. And this is why people that don't have a keen understanding of history, you are easily misinformed by some of this stuff because you just see the labels and it's a multi-layered thing and people don't want to think that deeply. But if you do the research, my nigga, I promise you will see that the labels have changed 4 or 5 times. So whichever party started the KKK back in the day, it's not this Democratic Party, bro. It is the Republican Party with the Democrat Party label, and vice versa. And so you can see there's clear examples of that in history. It's something you can go look up, man, and you can compare the time periods. And I think that'll give you a better understanding of some of this shit. A lot of people do that. Right? Like a lot of people make that misconception. But that Democratic Party that y'all talking about, the Dixiecrats and all that, them was the Republicans, my nigga. They just was calling themselves the goddamn Democrats. That's a fact.
So why was the Republican Party so mad that Abe freed the slaves in? To a certain degree.
I mean, a lot of it was just about economics, bro. A lot of those people were mad because they were making millions and millions of dollars off slaves. So it might not have even been a Republican Democrat thing at that point as much as it was just economics, nigga.
You're wrong. It started in the 1850s, then it went to the 1860s, right? Because like I said before, yes, it was economics, but what was the economics? What was the currency? It was cotton. It was cotton. So that's like when
so how you gonna tell me I'm wrong, nigga? Tell me that, nigga, that I'm right. Like, nigga, I know. Listen, bro. Nigga, I've studied his. I've forgotten more about this shit, my nigga, than you'll probably ever know. I'm just keeping it real with you, bro. But a lot of the decisions that were driven in these colonial times, right, were most definitely about racism, but it was all about like taxation, right? If you think about the why America branched off from England, right? Why the English motherfuckers came over here and wanted to branch off, and it was about fair taxation. It was about their bread, right? And so I think the brutal tactics that they inflicted on us, to me, I mean, most definitely it was some brutality, hatred type shit. But I think that they fought so hard to keep slavery going, not only for the hate part, but for the dollar, nigga, for the money. They was making money. They was living in mansions, and you go see some of them damn slave owner, old slave homes, bro. Them shits is fucking mansions. So there was definitely a strong economic component to it too, bro.
Right. Right. But you had left a little part out. That's why I had to just add that piece in. Right. I had to add that piece in. Because a lot of people get misconstrued and conflicted that, hey, oh yeah, we should go with this party. But I can't. Me personally, I can't fuck with that party because why they wanted to keep us enslaved, and all them, and that's why motherfucking Abe was like, okay, I don't want to rock the boat. Y'all Democratic parties on the motherfucking on all the South states, you coming with your own rules, your own laws. But that's why a lot of motherfuckers in the North and some of the motherfuckers from the South was trying to get away from that shit. So just like when you celebrate New Year's Eve.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what you got to understand, Dr. Nino. When Abraham Lincoln Republican Party, they were really Democrats of today. The Dixiecrats and all that you hear about, those were really the Republicans of today, bro. Like, and I may have to fucking do a video on this shit for you niggas, bro. The labels have changed like 4 or 5 times over the years, and that's just where we're at now.
So who's in charge of the country?
Right now it's the Republican. It's the true conservatives, the conservative Republicans. It's the Dixiecrats. It's the motherfuckers that was in support of slavery.
Let me ask this type of question, right? Because when you say that's just the administration, right? But can't you agree?
It's more than the administration, my nigga. It's an ideology. It's an ideology. It's a white nationalist ideology. The conservative agenda isn't necessarily a racist agenda. Like, conservative people just want shit to be more conservative. They don't want to depend on the government. They want less government, more, state interaction, and more you just figuring the shit out on your own type of shit, right? Less dependence on the government. The Democrat or more liberal concept is that no, the government is there to provide services and programs so that people don't fall through the cracks. That's the main difference between the ideologies. Now, where Trump is taking it is to a fascist place. Adolf Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, right? That's a foreign ideology of government where dictators, there's one nigga in charge, he rules shit, get down or lay down. So these are the ideologies that people have to understand, and this shit is deep, and that's why a lot of people don't get it, because you have to mix history with a little bit of ideology and a little bit of just common fucking sense. Once you put the pieces together, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is just like the Abraham Lincoln's Republican Party are the Democrats of today. The Dixiecrat, all that shit, those are the Republicans of today. Just think about it like that, bro.
Dre, no, it's not, brother. And I'm glad you brought off Adolf. So let me ask you this: did Adolf fuck with black people?
I mean, he didn't fuck with many people who weren't white.
My question is to you: did he fuck with black people? Yes or no?
I mean, if he wanted to purify his country of everybody who wasn't white, I'd say no.
To purify his country? Well, let's go back. In 1933, Jesse Owens won the motherfucking Olympics out there in Berlin. So while your Democratic Party right? Roosevelt, he sat his ass down. Adolf stood and saluted. And not just he just saluted. This is how they throw parades out here today in different states when somebody football or basketball wins in the finals or the Super Bowl. Guess what? That's what they did in Berlin. Everybody in Germany.
What does that mean though? Like again, Dr. Nino, you mixing historical events with speculation, my nigga. Like, I don't know why Roosevelt sat down. Well, but I do know when Hitler got up, I think Jesse Owens, they turned their back on the nigga or some shit. So, I mean, for me, bruh, all that shit don't matter. What I'm trying to tell you, as far as policy is concerned, as far as agendas are concerned, as far as a direction is concerned, my nigga, the Republican Party of like Abraham Lincoln's, the North and all that, those are the Democrats of today. The Dixiecrats and the people who were against black people and minorities, those are the Republicans today. Look at the fucking policies, bro. They just gutted civil rights, got rid of DEI, got rid of affirmative action. Right? They're on the other side of a lawsuit right now in Evanston, Illinois, to stop black reparations. Like, what more do you need to see? Like, I'm confused.
So like I was saying, though, Dre, it's clearly debunking what you're saying, because you're saying, I think he turned his back. He didn't. He saluted him, right? This is what I'm saying, right?
Jesse Owens didn't salute Adolf Hitler?
No, Adolf saluted JC.
And what did Jesse Owens do?
What are you talking about? He stood there and said thank you, bowed to him to a certain degree.
So Jesse Owens bowed to Adolf Hitler.
To a certain degree.
I'm going to go pull this video up right now, bro. If you lying, I'm kicking your ass smooth the fuck off the chair. Because I know that's not what happened. I've seen that video 1,000 times.
Come on, bro.
Here, I'm finna go pull this video up right now. Like, this nigga Captain. Here, go ahead. I'm gonna give you the floor while I pull this video up. Go ahead. Go ahead with the bullshit.
Jerry, I swear, bro, I fuck with you, bro. But still, bro, listen to your boy, bro. You gotta come on home. And I understand, because if you really go do the research and look and find that the soup that's been reheated, you're gonna have to bite your tongue on everything that you done said. And I know the truth hurts. You keep saying, yeah, the Republicans, no, it's not, bro. Because if you say, well, the Republican want nothing with the government, right? So you telling me that you're willing to be spoon fed because because if you look right now.
No, what I'm telling you, nigga,
I'm telling you that I've compared the dates, nigga, to when the days change, when the titles change. I compared that to the time period of when the shit was going on. And it happens multiple times, 3 or 4 different times, right? So that's how I can tell the switch. I've looked at it in history and did the timeline, nigga. Like, what are you talking about? That's why I keep telling you, it's changed multiple times in history. We're just at the time now where the Democrats of today are the Republicans of Abraham Lincoln. And the Dixiecrats and all that shit of then is the Republicans of now. That's a fact. Like,
but you said that the Republican of today don't want nothing with the government, right?
Yeah,
the conservative movement
of today is different, bro, because the MAGA Trump, they've taken over, and that's a fascist movement. That's different from a pure conservative movement. A pure conservative, like before Trump, prior to Trump, Bush, Reagan, some of them motherfuckers, that they was on a more conservative, pure conservatism type of movement, which is just less government and, less taxes and different shit like that, bro. But this current MAGA movement is more of a fascist movement because it only bows down to one person, not the Constitution, to one individual. And that's what's wrong that's what's wrong with this whole scenario. That's what the part that you don't understand. Like, right? This country is built off a constitution, not a king, not one individual. That's what the fascist MAGA movement is all about. Donald Trump is correct all the time. I'd never hear you motherfuckers saying he did anything wrong. That's a cult, my nigga. That's some Putin dictator shit. That's not what we do.
Beautifully said. But see, there's a thing that you don't understand. And what you don't understand is that, yes, it's always going to be one that's going to keep. Trump is only the face, but it's the little hats. It's what run it. That's why I asked you that question. A president is elected. Now, for you to get a better understanding of that, you got to understand what the country is. The country is a privately owned corporation. Privately owned. That's why I told you, if you go look on any of your bills, your name comes in capital letters. It's going to be different if I send you a letter through the mail. I'm going to put capital D, lowercase r and E, and so forth. So yes, there's always going to be a dictatorship. But right now on this administration, Trump is nothing but a face. He's nothing but a manager. That's why everybody gets so upset and mad. But it's the little hats.
Look, listen, Dr. Nino.
I just looked up this Jesse Owens shit. I think what you're correct is what you're saying is correct about the Hitler standing and Truman sitting down or whatever. But Hitler also refused to shake Jesse Owens' hand after he won 4 gold medals, bro. I don't know if you knew that.
So what was the parade about? Did you see the parade?
Did I see
what parade?
Do you see have you looked up the parade part out in Berlin when they threw him a parade?
No, I ain't got to that part yet.
Okay. But that's all I'm saying is, bro, this is a privately owned corporation. And the president is every corporation has to have a president. That's why you got CEO, CFO, COO. Trying to tell you, bro. And that's what and when I put it in,
here's what we about to do.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Here's what we're about to do. I'm about to run through a couple of these videos. I'm gonna let you have the floor for a second. Go ahead and get your shit off, man. Tell me where this whole video was wrong. You got it. Go ahead.
the video was wrong that you was just playing with dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's giving that same as baby boomer rhetoric. Go to school, get an education. But a lot of motherfuckers who is 18, 19 don't know what to go in school for. So they go to school and then come out with major debt. And then now you got to pay all this debt back when you still got to live your regular life. Other shit comes up. So you're not going to be able to pay that and pay for other shit that's in your regular. That's why people some more money.
Hold on, let me stop you right there, because I don't think he was promoting. He wasn't promoting forcing people to go to school, bro. That's not what he was saying. I think what he was saying was get the education because that's going to help close the gap, right? He's not saying go into debt to get the education. He's just saying get the education, but he also promoting trades. And that's correct, bro. Like, I don't care how much an education costs, my nigga. Like, I spent a lot of bread on my education, Dr. Nino, and was in debt and damn near still is. If the Obama/Biden plan didn't help a nigga get rid of the debt, if Biden didn't forgive this debt because I ran through the play that Obama set up, right? So, but even with all that, nigga, the education is invaluable, right? How I can get on here and do this shit and be fairly accurate and fairly, you know what I mean, accurate most of the time is because of my education, nigga, because I done studied this shit, because I know this shit. I done spent hours looking at this shit. I know good information from bad information from having an education. I know what sounds stupid as fuck and what I should put my time and effort into based off my education, my nigga. So I tell motherfuckers all the time, don't do it for the job shit. Do it to better yourself, because that's going to help you just have more gain in life. But if you're looking for your education to translate into riches and success, most people, it don't work out like that. You got to have a trade, got to have a hustle, got to sell something, got to, you know what I mean? If you want to be a millionaire, you got to sell some shit. or have multiple streams of income coming in. So, but I think what college did for me, bro, what having an education did for me, my nigga, was it opened my eyes to what is real versus what's fake. I know how to tell what's real versus what's fake now. I know how to construct some shit that a business may take a look at and may give me some money for. I know how to set my own business up. I have confidence, and now I can look at the books and I understand what it looked like, and I'm not getting robbed. I can read the contracts and understand what they mean. And so that's the value of an education right there. I can tell when somebody who doesn't have an education just by listening to what comes out of their mouth. And just by their body language. I can tell when they're lying and when they full of shit. That's all from an education, my nigga. And so that's the value that I got out of it, man. I can't tell the next motherfucker, and the debt, it damn sure ain't worth it. But what I learned and how I learned it and what I know now is most definitely invaluable. And you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Beautifully said, beautifully said. But just like how you said earlier, you're speaking anecdotally, right? So let me ask you this question. The stuff that you went to school.
Yeah, that's my story. That's my story. Yeah, absolutely.
The school that you attended and the degrees that you went for, are you doing that now? Be honest.
Undergraduate degree, no. Because it was in politics. Well, yeah, actually I am, because it was in politics. Nigga, I got my undergrad in politics. I'm talking to you motherfuckers about politics, nigga. I'm trying to put it to use the best way I can, nigga. Damn it. All right. My other two, yeah, one of them is in finance. I do that shit now, and the other one is in global management. I do some of that shit now too. So, yeah, but I had to put the pieces together, nigga. I didn't walk out and there was a company that had all of those factors. No, nigga, I had to put it together. You feel me? That's a part of what college don't teach you is the hustle, nigga. You gotta. It's not only having the knowledge, you gotta apply that shit, and you know. You got to have a marketplace to apply it to. That's the other part of it. I can go have the desire to be the best nigga out of college that I can be. But is there a job waiting for me, nigga? Is there somewhere for me to go for 8 hours a day? That's the other part.
And the answer will be no, right?
In this current environment,
it's less than it has been.
Because Trey, just like every other motherfucker, you fell in the trap, in the hustle. You fell in the hustle, just like the baby boomer was telling you. Go get the education, right? Go to school, because you got to get the education. You got to get it from the school, right? So you fall right in that rhetoric or that bull.
No, that's not falling into nothing, man. Like, here's what you got to understand. You have a 0% chance of, or a less than 1% chance of making it if you don't have an education. Right? So why not give yourself a better chance by getting one? Does it guarantee riches and fame and wealth? No. But at least it gives you an opportunity to know where you at. I can spin the globe right now, my nigga. Go land anywhere and be guaranteed to have a high paying type of position and some level of authority just by what I did in school, my nigga. I can spin anywhere on the globe. I can close my eyes and point my finger anywhere and just pull up. And based on my credentials, I'll be set up in, depending on the job market in that area, 3 to 6 months. I think that's pretty valuable.
Hey, when you brought up the political here talking, that don't count, Dre. I mean, it can sharpen your shit, but it don't count.
Nah, bro, fuck that, y'all gonna get fuck that. I gotta meet your ass, Dr. Nita. Y'all gonna give me some credit for this shit, nigga. I'm trying to put this degree to use, showing y'all these news clips and all this shit. Fuck that, nigga. Fuck that.
Dre, I swear to God, I fuck with you, but look though. Dre, you gotta show me where it makes sense. I gotta see the logic, baby. I gotta see the logic in this, because all I do is see a hustle. Everybody getting all these loans and grants and all that, but it's going right on their credit. Because my son, right? He said he wanted to go to school. for a doctor.
Nah,
hold on.
Even
Even
before
before
you
you
get into
get
that, Dr. Neil, before you, I'm gonna let you tell your story, but before you get into that, let me just say this, bro. If you're not willing to invest in yourself first and foremost, then you probably never gonna make it. Secondly, is education all that shit overpriced? Absolutely. Should it be free? Absolutely. But you know what? Why it's not free, Dr. Nino? Because of your fucking Republican Party. That's why education's not free. That's why whoever you're about to tell me this story about is about to have to come out of pocket for a fucking education. It's because of the motherfuckers that you support, bruh. So let's keep that in mind. Second, right? And then I want to say this, right? Having an education allows you in life to be better and have a more enhanced life, bro. You it's predators and sharks out there all day long. Me having an education helps me to avoid that shit, to be able to see who trying to get my little bit of money I do got. And that's valuable, my nigga. It helps me to recognize a good opportunity so I can take this little bit of money that I do got, put it on a play, maybe a double, maybe a triple, maybe you do something. Without an education, you're not able to do that. So it allows you to navigate your own shit, my nigga, in a more effective and efficient way, and mitigates a lot of risk. And again, that's valuable. Now, is it worth the money they charging? Fuck no. The nigga, if you saving up for college for your kid, buy him a house instead of sending them to college. They can always go to college. They're gonna get immediate return on that investment. Please believe that's where I live. But I'm never gonna talk nobody out of getting an education, nigga, because once you get that money from that house, just as quick as you got it, somebody come rob your stupid ass for it if you don't know what you're doing.
That's true. Hey, Dre, man. Oh, man.
You know what I mean? I'm a fair and balanced type of nigga, bro. Like I see both sides of it, bro. But I put more weight where I think more weight should be. I you know what I mean? I think an education is immensely important. Is it as valuable? Is it worth as much as that? No, I'm nigga debt. Yeah, all that's real. But me being smart, that same education allowed me to find a loophole in the system that Obama helped kick the door in and create. I joined the loophole, ran the play for 6 or 7 years. And then Biden sends me a letter saying he's forgiven 150 bands of my student loans. So education got me in the debt, most definitely. But education got my black ass out of that same debt too.
So Biden took 150K. He paid that.
Hell yeah, nigga, about 130. I still got like 20 from the undergrad. 15, something like that. Little 10 piece, maybe. I don't know. I gotta look that shit up. But I got a little left over from the undergrad, little party and shit I did. But nigga, it ain't 170.
Right.
Nigga, it's like 9, nigga.
You was close to $2.
Yeah,
200.
absolutely.
You was close to 200, maybe even more. So just imagine if Biden didn't do that.
Yeah, but I was already in the. That's what I'm telling you, Dr. Nino. Even if Biden didn't do that, I was in a program that Obama set up to where I was already running that play, and that play it was guaranteeing me as long as I did the steps, set up my nonprofit, ran that shit, checked in with them niggas once a year. I was already on track to get that shit forgiven either way because of my education. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know what you know.
I know, nigga, and because a lot of people don't fucking listen. Right. And this is what I try to tell niggas. It's like you have to put the right people in place that's going to help you. Obama valued education. So he said your education is like currency. If you set up a nonprofit, we will work your nonprofit for the next 6-7 years, make these little minimum payments, and we will forgive the rest of your balance. That's what happens when you have a motherfucker in there that values education, that values you and values you coming up. Right. And you can compare that to anything that Trump's done. He ain't did shit like that. So I see the game from a different perspective, my nigga. I'm really in the trenches with this shit.
I bet you are. I bet you are. Mm-hmm. I just say, well, you know, hey, I just hope you make the most out of your, you know what I'm saying, your degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, fam. That's what I'm trying to do. And I not just for me, but for nigga, I have a microphone on there. I can share all this knowledge and education and wisdom with the world. Motherfuckers gotta listen. They gotta tune in. They gotta tap in. They gotta at least not even believe me off the rip. Go research what I'm saying. If there's some bullshit, I may have got a little left when I went right, whatever. Nigga, let's figure it out. But people ain't willing to do that simple thing. And that's where we're fucked up, bro.
So, old boy, right? The baby boomer. Now he talked about economics, right, with black people. Do you know where black people are in this country economically? Out of the 17 flags that's here in this country,
Where we at?
dead bottom. 17.
Yeah,
40,
sound about right.
40 to 50K a year annually. But the Asians and the Indians from India and your little hats, number 1, 2, and 3. And you can look.
Here's the thing, right?
Here's what I like to say, bro. I like to say, and because this is very true, there's enough money in this country for everybody to win, bro. Right now, it's being tilted and funneled in certain directions that ain't our direction. And they hoarding a lot more of it and been hoarding a lot more for hundreds of years and had a head start. So there's a certain part of this shit where I'll be like, I could blame this group or that group, this or that. Nah, I try to look at the policies, man, because groups, I mean, it is what it is on the group, bro. What is that group doing? What is their policies? Well, how did they get there? You feel what I'm saying? Why are we not there? Like that's the thing I care about. Why are we not there? Right? And what's the agenda? Like what's the roadmap for that shit? So for me, it's about the substance, bro. It's about the work. Like I can point to this group or that group, but at the end of the day, the legislation is what matters. I don't give a fuck who put it there. How do we get it off of there?
Well, we're not gonna be able to get it off. It's gonna stay. Because the lineage been passed on for so many years. And what I'm talking about is that motherfuckers wanted to put themselves on what? Welfare. So when they put themselves on welfare, most of the women did because they didn't want to stay down with the black man, because that's why I always say the black man don't get no love. Right? Black man don't get no love. So when your boy came out in 33 and proposed the Welfare Act, then your boy LBJ came in with the kick and said, hey, well, no black man, married or not, can't be in the household for you to receive welfare. So that's why a lot, even to this modern day in this time, that's why a lot of black women, some of the black women who are on welfare, you're not gonna see no nigga in the household. And continue.
How do we get our women off the welfare and back in the employment loop? Right? Listen, bro, I'm tired of motherfuckers blaming the welfare for niggas not. If that may have been a policy, cool, but nigga, you could still be there for your family. Right? And a lot of niggas didn't. A lot of niggas ended up in jail. We getting incarcerated at high rates. So it's a lot more factors than just the girls on welfare and the man is out the house. I hear a lot of people talking about that, and it most definitely had an impact. But I just feel like let's get our women. How do we get our women off of welfare? So you don't even got to fucking worry about
that. Bruh, it's about survival. Women gonna do anything for survival. And that's why I was alluding to earlier that the black man is not equal. Because we're not gonna make the same money. So when the 80s and the 90s came, motherfucking, you had young niggas that early as 11 and 12 grinding, trying to make money because they say, young, and then you got young adults, older adults who are grinding in the 80s and 90s because they say, man, I'm tired of being on my dick. Let me get on my nickel. These niggas is making money. So that's why drug dealing became so motherfucking popular, because we really had no other choice.
Yeah, I know that. I know that now, Dr. Nino, but and I understand that. Trust me, nigga, I come from a family, a long line of hustlers, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Long line of hustlers, my nigga. So I understand that. But we not at that time no more. Me and you talking on some new generation shit we can make money on. It's a lot more opportunities for us today. And a lot of that is because of the Black struggle. A lot of that is because of these DEI programs and affirmative action programs that we take for granted, whether you want to admit it or not. So that's where I'm at with shit, bro. Our civil rights is under attack. Our voting rights is under attack. That's where we are making the progress. Here, I'm gonna let you get this last word. I'm about to get out of here. Go ahead, run it.
I'm good. We pretty much summed it up for right now. Because best believe I'm gonna come back and pop my shit. You feel me?
What's up, fam? I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Nino, man. You always bringing that real, man. If I came to some agreement with Dr. Nino tonight, then damn it, I had listen, we did good tonight. You know what I'm saying? We did good tonight. If me and him ended it on a peaceful resolution, a Republican and a Democrat, a liberal and a conservative, then damn it, there's hope for all of us, man. So I'm gonna leave it right there. You know what I'm saying? We got some problems. We need to figure this shit out. This is the Remix with Cali Dre. Appreciate y'all for rocking, man. Subscribe to the channels, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get the hell out of here, man. Enjoy the rest of this California sunshine, what's left of it. You know what I mean? But this was a great discussion. I felt like it needed to be had, man, and we had it. So I appreciate y'all for tapping in. And till the next time.
Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my mind, got no time for that limelight. I'm from California, man, I guess we'll start with that. Banged out starter caps, glued to the cul-de-sac, looking like an artifact, trying to get their money back. Yellow jackets coming, mama about to have a heart attack. Southeast San Diego, we was at the heart of that. You moved about the hood, my nigga, you ain't want no part of that. Move to work and let the money drip the laundry mat. I pray to God the homie get his little daughter back. So many problems and it's not even a part of rap. So many suckers and they hating and they copycat. And life is bigger than these bitches that you hollered at. And if you bleed a dollar, better get $3 back. And all I'm giving is the facts. Pay attention to the stats and never making mention of the jacks. Gotta keep the money stacked, work your way through the traps. Money motivated to the max. Money on my mind, got my money in my mind, right? Money on my